All right, and welcome back to the Conscious Movement community. Today I'm here with Marlena. She's going to be demonstrating. And for today's class, I'm going to recommend that you have a strap. This is going to help for what we're going to do with the shoulders. You're also going to have a couple of blocks and then a foam roller if you got it towards the end of the class. Okay, so let's begin today's class standing. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is focus on externally rotating our arms to help to set the shoulder blade on the back. Now, I should be looking at this one. Marlene, I'm going to turn you this way away from the camera so people can see your shoulder blades. Okay, so when we practice a lot of vinyasa yoga, and I'll make this as brief as I can so we get into it. When we practice a lot of vinyasa yoga, the shoulders have a tendency to slouch forward and down because the front delt gets stronger, as do the chest muscles from all the pushing. There isn't a lot of pulling actions which will activate the rear delt and help to set and to help to strengthen the middle traps and the lower traps to hold the shoulder blade in a position more like this. So it's kind of a bummer, but a lot of people end up with rounded shoulders from practicing yoga. So what I want you to do with the strap is take it across your wrists and to have it shoulder distance apart. And if you have tighter shoulders like me, I would go even wider than shoulder distance. Okay, so the thing that you're going to do with this strap is to start to press out into it and to turn your biceps out. Now, you're going to have one bicep that turns faster than the other, and you're going to have a shoulder blade that's more willing to go on the back than the other. Think of it like you're racking billiard balls and you're trying to get them in that thing and get one, and one keeps trying to bounce the other ball out of position. So try to get them just balanced on your back, the shoulder blades. And as you're doing this, you'll start to feel a stretch across the front of your chest. Now, Marlena is lifting the strap away from the hips, which you can do that if you can start to feel that you're able to maintain that, but you might just want to keep the strap on your butt as you're rolling the shoulders. You can lift it off, it's okay. All right, so let's see. Now the shoulder blades are starting to come onto the back and they're looking pretty even. How are yours going at home? The next thing that you're going to do, turn to face this way. Now, when you start to do this shoulder blade action, you want to make sure that you don't harden your front ribs forward. So at the same time, start to broaden, open your back ribs, and create space between your back ribs and your buttocks without tucking your butt either. Press down into your heels, flow your groins, your inner upper thighs back over your ankles and down, and then start to engage from your outer hips, firm towards your feet, and lift up through your chest. The last thing, bring your head right up on top of the spine. Although with the hands back like this, then the head wants to shrink forward. It's like yoga whack-a-mole. You fix one thing and then the other thing gets weird and everything tries to go all over the place. So the last thing is right from behind your ears, these bones right here, you want these to balance back over your ankles as well. Okay, then we're going to release the strap off of you and just stand in mountain pose. Chest open. Then inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, come into a flat back position. Step back into a plank pose. Lower down onto your belly. Inhale into cobra pose. Now, when you come into cobra, don't push so much with your hands. In fact, lift your hands up off the mat just a centimeter, and let me see if you can integrate those same actions that we did with the strap. If we had more time, I'd have you tie that strap even on your elbows and try to get the shoulders to move. So instead of trying to lift the chest away from the floor here, I instead want you to reach your chest forward and feel the blades can really come onto the back. Now you can place the hands back down in an effort to bring the blades onto the back more instead of trying to push away from the ground. Then make sure with your thighs that your inner thighs, your groins are releasing up to the ceiling like I'm showing, instead of hardening down to the floor, which is going to clench the side butt into the bottom of the tail and turn your thighs out. Press the tops of the feet down, scoop your belly up to your chest, then lower your heart back down, push up into plank pose. Stretch back into downward facing dog. Set your knees down onto the floor. Hands underneath your shoulders. As you exhale, round your back and look back at your navel and spread your shoulder blades. Open all this up, but without hiking your traps. Then inhale into cow. I always forget which one's cat, which one's cow, because it's not logical at all. Well, I guess the cat is kind of, cats do that. And then round your back, tuck your buttocks, tuck your belly in, spread your bottom blades toward your hands without hiking your traps, and inhale into the cow. Moo. Exhale into the cat one more time. And inhale. Good, then come into neutral spine. Step back into plank pose. Hold in your plank, middle in, legs strong. Bring your right knee up to your elbow. Change, left knee up to your elbow. Change, right knee up. Change, left knee up. Change, right knee up. Change, left knee up. Stretch that leg back. Lie back down onto your belly. Inhale into cobra pose. Roll your heart forward as you stretch through your legs. Lower your chest back down. Press up into plank pose. And stretch back into downward facing dog. Hold in your down dog. Press down evenly into your hands. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back, elongate. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up, reach down through your feet as you raise your arms. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come into a flat back. Step back into plank pose. Hold in your plank. Bring right knee up to your elbow. Change, left knee up. Change, right knee up. Change, left knee up. Stretch that leg back. Lie down onto your belly. Stretch your arms forward, reach to your hands. Then as you press the hands down, engage your glutes. Firm your hips and your buttocks towards your feet and lift your legs up just an inch up off the mat. Then press your feet down, bend your elbows back into cactus position, hold the hands up off the mat. Your head is up too, but instead of jamming your chin forward, keep your neck muscles long. Then slowly lower your heart a little closer to the ground so you find a neutral spine and stretch your arms straight out to the side. Now turn your thumbs to point up so you turn on your external rotators. And in this pose, we're helping to stretch out those tight muscles in your chest and strengthen the muscles in the back of your shoulder. Then stretch your arms straight back behind you, still with the thumbs pointing up a little bit. So you're in external rotation, again, helping to roll the front of the shoulder open and engage in the back. Then stretch your arms all the way forward. Reach forward through the crown, lower the head so it's even with the spine. Now lift the legs up too, as long as it's not too much on your lower back. If it is, you can press the hands back down like in the first round. Then slide the hands into cobra position, press the feet down and hold in cobra, lower your heart back down, press up into plank pose, stretch back into dog pose. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back, elongate. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up, raise your arms. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back into plank. Hold in your plank. Now we're going to do the knee ups, but this time we're going to twist. So bring your right knee towards your left elbow. Inhale, reach back. Try to keep your shoulder girdle even. Exhale the left knee to the right elbow. So turning from your belly and your hips, but not from your shoulders. Change sides. Exhale, right knee to the left elbow. Good, don't let those shoulders twist. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, left knee to right elbow. Inhale, reach it back. Hold strong in your plank. Then set your knees down or with the legs straight, lower slowly to elbow height. Chaturanga. Pause. Lift back up. Lower all the way down onto your belly. Inhale into cobra position. Roll your chest forward as you press the tops of your feet down. Exhale, stretch your arms forward. Turn your thumbs up. As you inhale, reach past your fingers and your toes, lifting the hands up if you can without the upper traps taking over. Exhale into cactus position, bend your elbows back. Inhale, stretch your arms forward. Reach through your toes, reach past your fingers. Exhale into cactus position. Inhale, reach arms forward. Exhale into cactus. Hold, then stretch the arms straight out to the side and turn the thumbs up a little. So you turn on your external rotators, the back of the shoulders getting strong, but keep your chest a little closer to the ground so you're really using your shoulders instead of your lower back. Then stretch your arms straight back behind you. Thumbs still turned up a little bit, a little variation than the classic. Place your hands into cobra position again. Feel those external rotators on. Bring your blades onto the back without the elbows crunching in. Many will try to crunch the elbows in instead of actually using the back muscles. Then lower your heart down, find neutral, press into plank pose from there, holding the neutral spine so you don't sink in your middle, and stretch back into downward facing dog. Good, now in down dog, spread from the bottoms of your blades into your hands. Press into your hands evenly. Then raise your right leg up from the inner thigh without your rib cage sinking. So brace in here on your ribs as you stretch the right leg. And then think of growing your right leg from your hip and from your tail, from your buttocks into your foot. Exhale the knee to your chest, shift into plank pose. Now come into the cat back, so round your back, spread your shoulder blades without the traps hiking, let the neck even round so you're looking back towards your navel as you pull up. And then inhale, slowly lower your knee so it's hovering just a centimeter above the floor and find a flat back, not a cat, not a cow. Exhale, pull back up. Shoulders go right over the heel of the hand. Inhale, slowly lower, come into the flat back. Exhale, pull back up, use your core. Push from your bottom blades into your hands. Push into the hands. Inhale, lower slowly, hover there, 1 inch above. 20 more times. Exhale, pull your knee up into your chest. I'm just kidding, this is the last one. Step your foot all the way up by your thumb. Good job. Then lower your back knee down to the floor for half moon lunges. No, I'm just kidding. Someone said, can you do half moon lunges? I'm like, I don't even know that that's a thing. Raise your, you know how I ask what you want to see? Someone said they want to see half moon lunges. And I wondered what yoga channel they've been watching. I don't know. Okay, then bend the elbows out to the side, cactus position, lift your heart. But I appreciate your request. Raise your arms back up. Bring your hands down to the mat. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee up. Now let's see if we can integrate what you learned at foot at the wall class. Heel up over the toe mounds, back thigh lifted, but track your right sit bone. Don't let your knee cave in. You might need to push out with the feet more, like we learned on that week. Then from there, lift your belly and float your arms back behind you. Strong in this position. Okay, now, in this position, as you bring your head up into the line of your pelvis, so from your pelvis to your ribs, chest, head, you have a long line. That means that you're using your core. If you're hunched over, you can't find that line. If you've gone past it, you're not using your core. Find that position. And then let's see if now you can integrate. We're going to do that exaggeration with the arms like you're in the strap again. Again, this is a little bit of an exaggeration from really what a neutral position is for the shoulder. That's okay. And then lift from your belly and come all the way up. Arms up, crescent lunge. And we'll hold here for 5. So feel that you're lifting up through your back thigh bone and spin your left inner thigh back. Spin it back as you track your right hip. Lift up through the sides of your chest, grow your arms. Good, then bring your hands down to the mat, step back into plank pose. Hold in your plank, or lower slowly into low plank position, adding a chaturanga push-up, and press straight back up. Downward facing dog, glide back. Push evenly into your hands. Then lift your left leg up from the inner thigh, but keep your middle in, your rib cage in, without being rigid. Grow your hip through the reach of your foot. Exhale the knee to your chest, shift into plank. Bring the shoulder right over the wrist, pull up, spread, spread, spread. Spread those shoulder blades without hiking the traps. Pull up in your belly. Then inhale, slowly lower your knee. Hover it just a centimeter above. Spread your collarbones, open your chest. Exhale, pull back up. Tuck the buttocks under. Inhale, slowly lower, heart forward. Exhale, pull back up, tuck your butt, open your back ribs, look back towards your navel, spread, spread, spread those blades, but don't hike the traps to do it. And step your foot up by your thumb. Oh my gosh. Lower your back knee down. Descend through your right shin, left heel, then lift up the skin of the front of your pelvis as you raise your arms up. Skin of the front of the pelvis. Reach. Bend the elbows out to the side, cactus arms. Inhale, reach back up. Bring your hands back down to the mat. Curl your back toes under. Lift the back knee up. Then float your arms back at your side. Don't let that hip wander. Hug the hip, keep your knee tracking. And then lift up so that you're in the line of your pelvis. I could draw a line from your back ankle to your hip, to your shoulders, all the way up to your ears. Find that line of energy in your body so that you're using your core muscles. And then start to bring the shoulder blades onto the back, but don't let the bully shoulder blade take over. Good, now press to your feet. Inhale to come up, raise your arms up. Turn your right inner thigh back towards the wall behind you so that your hip bones start to point straight ahead. Lift from your heart up into your hands, but at the same time, lift your back ribs so that your lower back doesn't sink. Bring your hands back down to the mat. Step back into plank pose. Take a vinyasa or just stretch right back into downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, chair pose. Bend your knees, sit your hips back. Come up to stand, Samastiti. All right, so next as we move into the Sun Salutation B series, I'm gonna ask that you really keep that focus on your shoulder girdle while lowering into your chaturangas. If your shoulder starts to migrate forward and down, it would be better that you do it with knees down or just lie down on your belly instead of trying to lower, so that you can start to cultivate the strength and holding the shoulder in its good position. Otherwise, you're just gonna keep building more tension in your chest and in your shoulders. Okay, so inhale into chair pose, Surya Namaskar B. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale into a flat back, find length. Step back into plank pose. Lower slowly into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Step your right foot up by your right thumb. Warrior one. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot, warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Look in between your hands. Step your foot up to the front. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into chair pose. Press up to stand, Samasthiti. Inhale into chair pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back and lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot, warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale into plank pose. Now take your block, shift forward and lower your pelvis down onto your block. Then lower your chest down to the ground as well. Hold here, engage your legs like you're pushing your heels into a wall. Turn on the legs, the thigh bones lift. Then start to spread your collarbones just like we practiced at the beginning and feel your blades plug onto your back. Now maintaining that, hovering the chest off the ground, now just lift the head up to shoulder height. Good, hold there, opening the hands into the mat, bringing the blades onto the back, your elbows aim straight back towards your feet. Now, as you press into your hands and your feet, hug your hips in and down, brace in with your side ribs, and engage your legs like crazy. See if you can just lift up 1 inch up off the block and hold it. Don't lose anything. Oh, hold everything at the same height. And then press straight up from there. Everything at the same rate. Oh, it's too hard. Okay, so let's try, we'll go a little bit higher and we'll see if we can do that one. All right, get those collarbones, get the legs. The head's got to come up a little bit. Always, everyone, the head has to come up a little bit, but lower your heart down a little. There. Okay, now push into your hands and your feet. See if you can hover 1 inch up off and then push straight up. Better. Downward facing dog. Now I showed this because Marlena comes to my group class all the time. She's super strong, but this is still a pose of difficulty. So I'm guessing that mostly everybody. Even once I meet people, if they come on retreats, this is always a pose in transition that people struggle with, myself included. And there's a tendency to round when you're pushing up. So don't let yourself do that, because you're just going to be building strength in a way we don't want to. Walk your feet all the way forward. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Bend your knees and sit back. Press up to stand, Samasthiti. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Step back to plank pose. Hold in your plank, open up your shoulder girdle as much as you can. From the center of your chest, spread to the tips of your shoulders. Spread across the upper traps at the same time. Hold your middle in, then shift forward and lower slowly to elbow height, maintaining that. Don't let your head sink below it. Inhale into cobra or upward dog. Now as you hold in that upward dog, again, look for all that space here. Instead of throwing your head back, sinking from your lower back, keep your navel pulling up and stretch back into downward facing dog. Warrior one, step your right foot up by your right thumb, set up your back foot, inhale, come up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Spread across the tops of the shoulders without your belly pushing out. Stretch back into downward facing dog. Step your left foot, warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Now in down dog, bring your feet together and roll to the outside edge of your left foot as you take your right arm up. Vashisthasana, side plank. You can modify this pose by setting your knee down. Now as you're holding, look for the space for your shoulder girdle again. And line up yourself, find your mountain pose line to your ankles, to your hips, to your shoulders, to your ears. When you do that, your body will want to try to push the ribs out. So remember from the beginning, soften the front bottom ribs back in and down as you breathe space across your back ribs. Stretch back into downward facing dog. Bring your feet together and roll to the outside edge of your right foot. Take your left arm up. Remember, you can just set your knee down and work on the strength that way. Otherwise, if you're feeling strong enough to hold here, line up with the ankles, stack your left hip right up on top of your right so that your hip isn't twisted open, because that's cheating. Good, then stretch back into downward facing dog. Step your right foot for crescent lunge. Engage your outer hip, lift your belly and come up. Then bring your arms down at your side. Lean right back out over your knee again. Bring your hands onto a tall block, a couple of stack blocks, or if you don't have blocks, you're just gonna have to step up into warrior three without. Put the hands down, lean into your right foot, and raise your back leg. Now the first thing that I want you to do is to level your hips and level your waist to the floor. And then like we practiced in the three-legged dog, reach through your hip, out through your foot. Then you don't want to be rounded, but you don't want to be overarched. So feel a line from your hips to your shoulders to your heels, and then see if you can take one arm back behind you without losing it. And the other arm. Good. Now let's do that exaggeration with the arms. Spin your biceps out like they're in the strap again. Spread across your collarbones. Feel your blades on your back strong, so you feel your strong back muscles. Grow your neck longer, right through the core of the neck. Good job. Now bend your right knee. Step back into warrior one. Raise your arms up. Right hand to your hip. Grow longer through the reach of your left fingers and the reach of your back foot. Then spin your back heel up, but keep that length through your back leg. Lean out over your knee and twist, hook the elbow to the knee. As you press your elbow down, lift your heart up first, then join your palms together. Imagine you're pressing your back foot back against the wall, and then feel your head. You're aiming straight out in between your ankles. So if you look down, you can see, oh, I'm not sinking over the right one, I'm not leaning back, but I'm aiming straight out in between my ankles. Then spin from your left side, lower belly up towards your right shoulder. Bring your hands down to the mat. Step back into downward dog, or you can add a vinyasa, up to you. Step your left foot. Crescent lunge, back heel up, left outer hip strong. Don't let the hip wander out to the side as you come up. Good. Keep that left knee on a track. It didn't sink in. Then arms to your side, lean out over your knee. Place the hands on the block in front of you, or whatever you got. Step up. You could use a chair seat or something, a coffee table. Okay, but important, get the hips level, get the waist level. So you're going to be using this hip well. If it's difficult to level, you can bend your left knee. Press down even into your left foot. Then one arm at a time without twisting, without rounding or sinking. Hold the length through your spine as you take one arm and then the other. Then let's turn the arms like when they're in the strap so we can activate those back muscles, back of the shoulder muscles. Grow a line of energy from your tail to your crown. Make it even longer. Breathe through it. Ooh, that looks great. Now bend your left knee and as smooth as you can, step back into warrior one. Raise your arms. Place your left hand on your hip, reach up past your fingers, then spin your back heel up and twist, hook the elbow to the knee. Push the elbow down, lift from the navel up to your heart, and bring your left hand to your hip. Palms together. Bring your left hand to your right. Hands back to the mat, step right back into down dog or take a vinyasa, your call. Set your knees down on the ground, set your elbows down. Line up your elbows, put them right underneath your center shoulders. Then turn your thumbs up so we can activate those external rotators. Again, when hands turn in, biceps tend to turn in, shoulders tend to turn in. It's not necessary. You can learn to turn the hands without losing the shoulder, but it's going to help like training wheels to turn the thumbs up. So keep that rotation. Stay broad across the tops of the blades. Middle in. Now curl your toes, lift your knees an inch. Hold strong there in that position. And if you feel you got the shoulders solid, lift the hips straight up in the air. Good. Now if you're like, dude, this is super easy, first, don't call me dude, that's disrespectful. No, okay. See if you can maybe take one leg up from the inner thigh. That's good, but nothing from downstairs should change. Shoulders stay even. If you lose something in the hips, shoulders, waist, don't take the leg up. Change legs. Foundation's got to be there. Take the other leg up, stay steady. Stay solid in those forearms from elbow to wrist, rooting down through the whole blade of the forearm. Good, then lower that leg back down and walk into plank on your forearms. Good, now we're going to do this plank variation. It's called like a plank plus or an arc plank. You're going to set the knees down for a moment. And now I want you to do the shoulder blades like the cat shoulder blades. So spread the shoulder blades as much as you can. The other way, the cat goes that way. Yeah, I know, it's confusing for me too. Which is the cat? But don't hike your traps when you do it. Then I want the glutes to engage towards the backs of the knees. So you have a little tuck. Now maintaining this arched plank, step one leg back and then the other. Hold there. So this is good for engaging your serratus anterior, the rectus abdomini, but we don't want to always do these types of plank because that would be bad for our mind-body connection when we're trying to strengthen the core. We want it to be long too. But we're going to hold this one. Push from your blades into your elbows, tuck your glutes, tuck your buttock, tuck your low abs. Okay, then slowly go into the regular plank, pelvis in neutral, blades in neutral, spread collarbones. And now if you want to try to challenge that plank, raise your right leg up an inch. Nothing should change though from your middle or your shoulders. Left leg up an inch. Holy, this is the plank from hell. Oh my gosh. Set that foot down. Press your forearms. Spread your collarbones. And then slowly lower your hips down. Sphinx pose. If it feels like it's sinking so much in your lower back, take your elbows more forward. And then draw the energy from the lumbar up the spine, up through thoracic. Good, now curl your toes under, lift your knees, hips up, come back into plank on your forearms. Walk your feet in, down dog on your forearms. With control, mindfully, now with the hands flat, lift the elbows straight up. Good, then jump through to seated and lie on your back. Bring your legs into tabletop position, hands behind your head. As you exhale, crunch up towards your right knee, abs in, and push your left heel forward. Come back to center, knees together. Exhale to your left knee, push your right. Inhale to center, exhale to the right. Inhale to center, exhale to the left. You get the idea. Keep going, side to side. 20 more seconds. So this type of ab work, this is like that plank where you're crunched. Again, it's good to develop certain muscles in your core, but the ultimate, for me, most important, is cultivating the neutral because it helps us when we're doing everything else. And we spend so much time like this already that it's good to help to cultivate the neutral posture, core strength, neutral spine rather. So now hold in the middle, lower your head down. And this is a great one to help with the neutral. Stretch your arms straight up and slowly push your right leg forward without your belly falling. As you stretch your left arm back, see if you can stretch the arm and the leg further away from each other without losing your neutral spine. Bring the arm and the leg back up. Change sides. Push your left heel forward and slowly reach your right arm. So the neck shouldn't get weird, the lower back shouldn't lift, the ribs should stay in. Come back up, change sides, hold it out there. See if you can reach longer and longer, but keep the hips reaching out of the lower back. Keep those bones behind your ears lengthened away from your hips. Change sides. Good, bring it back up. Now last one, push both feet forward at a high diagonal, keeping those abs in, and then see if you can take the arms back. And hold, grow the spine longer, in fact. Good. 10 more seconds. See if maybe you can lower your legs a little lower, keeping the buttocks out of the back. Good, then bring the knees in towards your chest, hands to your knees. Set your feet down onto the ground, open your arms up like cactus. Take your feet the width of your mat. Great stretch to help to open up the tension in the chest and the shoulders here. Let the knees swivel over to the right as you look to your left. Change sides, knees to the left as you look to your right. Come back to center. Come into bridge pose. Now bridge is going to be one of the best postures to help with the same shoulder activation that we're working on. So lift your hips up just a little bit, just halfway into bridge, and then we're going to do that same strap action. Spin your biceps out. Feel like you're trying to press this thing right here. This is called your humeral head, the top of the humerus. Reach it down into the floor. But when you do that, don't harden from your lower back and your bottom ribs. Keep your ribs contained as you turn on those back muscles, and that will truly decide if you're using those back muscles. We tend to just hinge from the middle instead of actually using the muscles in the back of the shoulder. And now feel your shoulder blades, the bottom inner corners of the blades start to push in. Then engage your glutes. The inner buttock, middle buttock, you want to engage without the groins thrusting up. Engage your hamstrings and start to lift up. Keep your neck free and long. Good, lower your buns back down. One more time, let's practice that bridge. Now before you come up in this bridge, press your elbow and shoulder head down with your hands pointing up. It's just going to shorten the arm muscle so it doesn't have to pull as long. When the arm strains, it tends to pull the shoulder forward and down if it's really tight in there. So now you can get better access to getting those back muscles to engage. Now as your groins release down, plug in from the middle of your buttock straight forward, and then grip the buttocks towards the knees without hardening the sides of the butt end. So just this inner buttock, middle inner buttock, firms in and start to lift up. Now lift just halfway, pause there, use your back muscles again. Now how your glutes engage is going to help you to engage your back. So if you're thrusting the groins up right now, soften your groins, flow them down to your knees, feel that inner middle buttock support you and your tight hamstrings now, tighten the hamstrings, and then start to lift the hips up a little more. Now your tight hamstrings are coming to your advantage. For once, finally, the tight hamstrings. All right, now see if you can keep the shoulder, the front of the shoulder rolled open like that as you stretch your hands out along the ground with the thumbs up. Nice job. Now wiggle the feet in towards each other a little bit. As you push into your left heel, bring your right leg up. Tabletop with the right. Don't lose those back muscles. Strong back muscles. Lengthen the hips out of the back so you're not just hanging into it. Change. Bring the left knee up. Neck long, collarbones broad, blades are plugged, but lengthen the hips out of the back so that you're not just sinking. Lower that foot back down. Good. Lower your buns down. Hug your knees into your chest. Roll yourself back up to seated. Pick up and float back into chaturanga, or just step back into down dog. Step your right foot for warrior one. Inhale, raise your arms up. Open up to your side for warrior two. Hold here in Virya two, 5 breaths. Okay, so now how can we integrate what we're learning about the shoulders in this position? When you're holding in this position, you want to feel that you're broad across the front and the back. So you're not just throwing your shoulders behind you. So keeping your ribs in, spread across the tops of the shoulder blades, across the tops of the shoulders themselves, out through your fingers. Make sure that your ribs haven't pushed forward to do it. Then go forearm to thigh, left arm over, or you can put hand on the outside of the foot on the block or on the floor. Left arm over. Did I say that? Okay. Reach into your back heel. Make sure that your right leg hasn't caved in, like you're pushing out with the feet a little. Inhale, come back up into warrior two. Reverse warrior, flip your palm, inhale. Modified side angle, put your right hand down onto the inside of the foot, block or floor. Take your left arm up. Then wrap your left arm behind your back for a half bind or a full bind, if that's your thing. Stay in your feet. Feel your legs supporting you. Even if you have your right hand down on something, like you could lift the hand up off the ground at any point and you wouldn't be sinking. You're still lifted up through your legs, through your spine. Then open your arms back up. Press into your feet, come back up into warrior two. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back into downward dog or take a vinyasa. Step your left foot, warrior one. Inhale to reach up. Open up to your side, warrior two. Then go forearm to thigh. Right arm over, extended side angle. Press down into your feet. Inhale, come back up. Modified side angle. Place your hand down onto the inside of your foot. Take your right arm up. Then wrap your arm behind your back. Half bind or full bind. Open your arms back up. Press into your feet. Come back up into warrior two. Throw in that reverse because I forgot it. Then hands to the mat, step back. Take a vinyasa or just go right back into down dog. Step your right foot for warrior two. Inhale, come up. Straighten your right leg, triangle pose. Then bend your right knee, glance down at the floor, slide your hand a foot in front of your pinky toe, and step up to balance. As you press down even into your right foot, your heel, your big toe, and little toe mound, lift from your right hip up off your ankle. Pull that right outer hip up higher. And then start to grow your back leg. Grow from the back leg hip through the back foot. Good, now bend your right knee. Lower your left hand to the ground, level your hips out, and lower your left leg to meet your right. Squat down for crow pose. When you can't hold your crow any longer, you can float back into chaturanga or just step back for a vinyasa or go right to down dog. Nice. Step your left foot for warrior one. Inhale to come up. Open to the side to two. Straighten your left leg, triangle pose. Then bend your left knee, slide your hand a foot in front of your pinky toe, and step up to balance. With just a little bend in your left knee, connect down even into your left foot, your heel, big toe, little toe mound. And then, like I grabbed you from your left hip and pulled it up over your left ankle, lift up through that outer hip. Then start to grow your back leg from your hip out through your heel, and breathe your spine long through that line of your back leg. Now bend your left knee. Slowly lower your right hand, level your hips. Lower your right leg to meet your left. And practice crow pose, round 2, or you can just practice a squat, Malasana. 5 breaths. Good, then make your way back into down dog. Last standing vinyasa, step your right foot for warrior one. Inhale to reach up. Bring your hands to your hips and straighten your right leg. Step your back foot a little closer. Inhale your left arm up. Exhale, twisted triangle. Reach and turn, block or not, your call, up to you. Take your right arm up once you're steady. Aim your hips straight back through your tail, through your pubic bone, and aim through your crown straight ahead. Then start to move the skin from your back ribs down through your left hand as you let your chest smooth towards your right hand. Okay, now keep all that twist and turn. Look at the floor. Slide your hand or your block a foot in front of your foot on the inside. And without the right hip falling to the side, keep it lifted as you step up, just like you practiced in half moon. This is twisted half moon, so same kind of hip action. Then lower your left hand down, right hand down, left hand is already down. Just want to make sure you're paying attention. Raise your left leg up. Lower your left leg to meet your right. Let your head drop. Now hook your big toes, and as you inhale, come into a flat back. Exhale, fold deeper. From here, we're going to practice coming up into Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. So place your left hand on your hip, and then come up to stand holding your right big toe. Now, if you're someone who does knee instead, that's fine. Just switch to your knee, work on standing tall. This pose is challenging your core's ability to hold the leg out in front. The longer the leg is stretched out, the more difficult it is on your hamstrings and on your core. So if you need to hold the knee just to find your mountain pose line, I'd rather do that than have the leg out and be water skiing. That's what it looks like when you're water skiing. Actually, when I water ski, it just looks like me being dragged on the water. Trying to... Ski's gone. Okay, change hands and twist. Open up to your right. Look forward, arms up, legs straight out. Eagle pose. Bend your left knee and wrap your right leg up and over. Cross your right elbow under. So for the health of any muscle, its health is its ability to contract all the way and release all the way. If it can't do either one, that's not a healthy muscle. So in a pose like this, we want to feel now that those bottom blades can fully spread out onto your back without hiking the traps. Just like we worked in the arc plank. You want to be able to move that. Strong in that range, strong pulled back all the way, strong in all the different ranges of motion. Uncross your arms and your legs and stand tall in mountain pose. With your hands at your side, spin the biceps out so you can let the blades come into position. Let the hips balance over the ankles. Now turn your thumbs to point straight ahead, even though you have the shoulders rolled open like this. Inhale, raise your arms up. Press through your feet as you grow tall through the reach of your arms. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale into a flat back. Step back into plank pose. Take a vinyasa or just stretch right back into down dog. Step your left foot. Warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Bring your hands to your hips, straighten your left leg, raise your right arm up. Back foot might come a little bit closer, and reach and twist, twisted triangle. Aim your pelvic roots straight back, lengthen out through your crown. Keep the turn through your rib cage as you look down at the ground. Now slide that hand or block a foot in front of you on the inside and step up. As you step up, notice the hip wants to sink over to the side. Keep that left hip lifted. Back leg comes up. Good. Now I know that Marlena's got this back leg strong, but at home I know your back leg's sinking. Get that back leg up. I could see that leg. Come on, get it up. Good, then left hand down, fold forward, raise your back leg up. Lower your right leg to meet your left. Hook your big toes. Inhale into the flat back. Exhale, fold. Then bring your right hand to your hip, holding your left big toe. Come up with a strong core, long spine. Even if you have to bend the knees when you come up, that's okay. Then start to work the legs towards straight, especially the standing leg as you grow tall up over your ankle. Change hands and twist, open up. Then look forward and raise your arms up, legs straight out in front. Bend your right knee and wrap your left leg up and over. Cross your left elbow under. Feel that your shoulder blades can spread. Feel the upper traps spreading at the same time. Then uncross your arms and your legs. Stand tall in mountain pose. To the wall. Okay, let's go over to the wall now. And we're going to practice the preparations for standing on your hands. So we're gonna do the walk up the wall. You know that one, the L shape. So you measure yourself a leg's distance away from the wall, or however you do it, and then put your hands down. All right. Now from this position, I want you to feel that you're rooted evenly into your hands. You have the movement of your shoulder blades. The bottom blades are spreading out without trap hiking. Then you're going to engage your triceps. Okay. Now from that position, step one leg up a little bit higher than your hip. Classically, we want to do it at hip height to get the perfect L shape, but a little higher is going to be a little easier. And then you'll step the other foot up as well with the knees bent. Okay, now that your arms are fully over your head instead of before they're at this different angle, now I want you to reach from your outer blades into your hands while sinking the humeral head into the socket. Push into your hands. Press from your side ribs. Pull your front ribs in and up, and then see if you can lift hips straight up and straighten the legs. Ho! And come back down. That's okay. Good job. Uttanasana, fold forward. It's freaking hard when you're doing it really well. That's the thing. She's so committed to the perfect foundation that it is so hard. Okay, come back up from that. Now, if you want to pause the video and practice kicking up, if you're a kick up kind of person, you've already done the arm balance course and you've mastered the foundation, that's fine. You can do that, but we're not going to do that. So come back to your spot now in the middle of the room. And where's the foam roller? Let's use that thing. So what we're going to do is teach some thoracic extension. Now, this is really, really good for the posture that I was talking about, this type of shoulder situation, because when you're in this type of shoulder situation and you try to up dog, back bend, whatever, this whole spot isn't going to move at all. What's going to try to move is below it and above it. Those are usually right above where your stuck parts are in your spine. Right above and below are usually hingy spots. So what we're going to do is sit down in front of the foam roller with the hands behind the head, and we're just going to go into thoracic extension. But we'll move a few times before we hold it. So place that roller right at the tight spot at the bottom of your blades, and then roll back, roll back over the roller and take a breath. Okay, now you can see to roll back over, Marlena's neck did a lot of the work. So she's going to use her hands to kind of control, and almost like the neck is resisting in the flexion. And then come back up from there. And again, roll yourself back, but this time you'll create a little resistance in this part of your spine, almost like you're trying to flex on the upper abs, and a little bit resistance in the neck too, so that we can really get the thoracic to move. And then lower the head all the way down. Bring your elbows in towards each other, and then up to the sky. Stretch the arms up. And grab a hold of your elbows. Stretch the arms back. So even though your head is all the way down, you're still working on lengthening the cervical, the neck spine, and the lumbar spine. So you can feel the arc is going way up into the thoracic. Feel the tension in your armpit chest, the front and the side of the pec, in the lat, and in the serratus there, starting to open up. Bring your arms back up, change the clasp of the elbows. This is one of my all-time favorites. I love doing this. Stretch the arms back. Then hands behind your head again. Come back up. Good, and come all the way off the roller. All right, so then we're going to come onto hands and knees. And bring the right foot forward. The left knee goes down, hold there, or reach back with your hand for your foot. Release that and change sides. Good, then release that. Stand up on your knees. Now we're going to try to put into practice what we've been learning. So we're going to attempt to take the back bend up the back. Because the tendency when we go to back bend, this part will tend to sink into the back bend, the neck will sink back into the back bend. So we're going to come out of the back bend a little bit with the hands on the hips, roll your shoulders and elbows back, and then imagine that I have a string on your chest, pulling your chest up to the ceiling. And then at the same time, we got a knee right where that foam roller was, and you're going to try to roll up and over the foam roller. And we're just going to hold in this one right here. Don't let it come from the neck. Don't let it come from the lower back. Reach from your hips into your shins. You can do the groin in the middle inner buttock action to help. That should help to power the back bend up into the chest from the glutes. Strong glutes firming in. Groin softening back, glutes firm in, roll up into the chest. And then come back up. Does that answer your question now? Mm-hmm. That's the action. Okay, we were having this discussion at the beginning. How the heck, if you're a lower back bender, if you're someone who tries to push the ribs forward naturally, which I was, and Marlena has really struggled with, this is what you got to learn, and this is what you have to integrate into your up dogs, unless you want to burn out your lower back from doing yoga, which will happen. I've seen it. Okay, downward dog, release that tension. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let it go. Anything you do with repetition and you're not doing it well, there's going to be a potential to injure. So in the up dogs, in the chaturangas like we learned today, I want to really encourage those of you who are practicing these level 2, 3 videos with all the vinyasas and stuff, that you're doing them well. Okay, now let's come to seated for a couple stretches. First with Ardha Matsyendrasana, you can sit on a block for this one if you like. The left knee goes down, right knee goes up with the right ankle on the outside of the left. Twist to your right. And the last thing I'll say about this is that it might not be the last I'm saying that, but I'm probably going to say some other stuff. The tighter your shoulders are, these muscles in here in the front of the shoulders, the tighter they are, the more difficult it is to get into the upper back. So we're going to do one more stretch for the shoulders to help with it now at the end. But also the strengtheners that we do, you can use those as stretchers too by putting the hands down on the ground. You can just focus on stretching those muscles that we did at the beginning in the belly back bend series. Change sides. That's if you're like super tight in there. If you're trying to lift and it's already so tight. Another great one that you can do is just lying down with the cactus arms like we did about halfway through. But once you get really good at that and it's not any more stretch, you can lie down on a foam roller with the cactus arms. Just make sure that you're not pushing your ribs out. Release that. Then cross your left knee right over top of your right. Then your right hand goes behind your back from under, left arm from above. Stretch the left arm straight up at first, get length, reach, and then bend the elbow. Slide the hands, bind and reach in opposite directions or pretend like you're binding. Another great stretch. The elbow one was a good one. This is another great one to help with your shoulder mobility. Release that, change the cross of your legs, change the cross of your arms. Try to get the knees to cross right at the center, really important. Now, if that's super easy when you're seated on the block, you can sit flat. If that's super easy when you're seated flat with the knees crossed, then you can start to angle yourself forward. So it comes in steps. Work at your own level. Good, then release that bind. Sit in Dandasana in front of the block. Okay, now one of my very last favorites to help with the shoulder situation is when you're seated in Dandasana, sacrum upright, sit bones pointing straight down, hands down on the ground, and then we'll do that exaggerated shoulder action. Plug the blades onto the back. Make sure that the bully blade doesn't take over. Grow tall through your spine. Balance the bones behind your ears right up over your sit bones. Then inhale, raise your arms up overhead. Reach through the sit bones down as you grow the bones behind your ears up. Feel all the arm muscles lengthen through the fingertips, through the fingernails, send out energy. And then reach out for your feet, Paschimottanasana. Super tight hamstrings club. Just work on the flat back with knees bent a little. Open hamstrings, you can descend the thighs and go into full flexion. Then lie down onto your back for Shavasana, corpse pose. Turn your palms up at your side. Let your feet fall open. Just relax now. Take a slow, steady breath in through your nose. Fill your lungs from the bottom up to the top. Pause at the top. Let a third of the air out. Let another third out. Let all the air out. Again, slow, steady breath in. Let a third out. Let another third out. Let all the air out. Give yourself permission now to completely let go. Let go of any grips or tension in the body. With each exhalation, like a wave rolling down past your feet and away from you, let the exhalation wave take with it any tension, any worries or concerns that are preventing you from being present. And as you feel, the more you feel connected, the more that you relax, the more that you can feel connected to the flow of energy in your body. As you slow down and calm down, notice the sensations in your body. And you can feel when you're connected to your energy source that you feel calm yet energized at the same time. Without getting too Oprah on you, this is like your inner power. So this can be a great practice to do when you're feeling like depleted or run down. Just lie down for a bit and relax. Then bend your knees. Roll over onto your right side. Press yourself up to seated. Bring your palms together. Thank you. Namaste. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining today. I hope that you found today's practice beneficial. These are all actions that should be incorporated into your practice more regularly. So if you're not doing these types of practices regularly, if you're just focusing on maybe like one video, because this is something that you should work into your weekly, monthly routine or so. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks again to Marlena for coming and showing us how it's done. And we'll see you next time. Have a great day.